I'm looking here already at the score you have up for the Opus 20.
Right.
And I already see we're in unison rhythmically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little bit of interesting stuff happening with the higher voices.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, 100%.
but is there a spot that you're just like, this is like special?
I think for me, I mean, we get flashes of this all over the place.
Just flashes.
And then, and so Opus 20 comes pretty early in Haydn's output. And I think if we want to kind of biographically put a fingerprint on these pieces in Opus 20, he was at the Esterházy Palace. He was away from home. He was there as like a court musician. This is like where his salary, this is how he supported himself at this time. So when the royalty said, you know, okay, come on out here, we're gonna have all the artists over for like company retreat sort of vibes. And so they went out there and they would just write bucket loads of music. And apparently it was a fairly, you know, like comfortable from a human needs being met standpoint, but apparently a pretty unpleasant place to be as an environment. Like in the winter, it was humid, it was windy, it was, and I guess it was actually sort of bleak. Like people would get sick all the time. And the artists.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I guess they just didn't love like being away from their families in this.
This is like 1750s, right? Something like this?
This piece was written in 1772.
Yeah, it was in the 70, yeah, so 70. Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. Watch, I'm wrong. But
and that's
yeah,
okay. No,
yeah.
no. So that makes some sense because, you know, I don't think they've even, you know, barely, you know, what was his name? Baron von Leeuwenhoek or whatever is the one who's like dealing with the microscope and microbes and stuff. So this would be perfectly true. It's going to be a mess.
And, you know, you can imagine like if there's this impulse of human expression coming through all of them and then you're in this sort of somewhat unpleasant place to be, like we catch glimpses of that. And so one of the simplest things that we see in the collection of Opus 20 is there's a lot more composing in minor keys than we've seen in string quartets past.
Well, the bleakness makes sense.
Sure, and like not that we want to generalize that everything in a minor key is sad, but
no, but I mean...
But it is. It you know, like there are relationships between keys and what you're trying to express. And so that's probably, I think, the simplest thing that we can see. And then in this piece in particular, my favorite moment is in the last movement.
And it is major, not minor, this one.
Right, but he's flashing
he modulates in and out, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. In the last movement, I'm having trouble locating it in the score. Everything is sort of proceeding the way you'd expect it to. And in this last movement, there's a moment where everybody starts kind of grumbling on this chord that doesn't make any sense, that doesn't really exist it's not a melody, it's a fragment. It's honestly kind of like the beginning of Beethoven Opus 95 that we talked about last time.
Serioso.
It's just this kind of creepy, out of place, on this dissonant harmony that just totally doesn't belong there. And so we get this kind of fragmentation that goes on and these flashes of experimentation.
So it's prestos. So this part.
Yeah.
That part.
Comes out of nowhere. It's just pointless.
Maybe he's just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, or like it's this disruptive.
I get it. I'm just making something up. So it's almost like it's just a little interjection of something that would normally not have been there.
Yeah, it like completely disrupts
it sort of
the
disrupts
phrase structure.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The phrase structure just kind of goes boom. Where'd it go?
It disappears. Yeah.
Got it.
And
now, is this something that your average listener would notice, or would it be something that?
I think it could.
I mean, back then, would they have done?
Oh yeah, back then they
would have noticed it.
They would have been totally freaked out by it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, especially after this like Galant style Rococo stuff, where just everything in a very museum-like way,
right,
is where it belongs, is where it needs to be.
So this would have been like, I'm trying to put it in terms of, I guess this would have been like, you know, Chuck Berry on stage when they've all been used to like Doris Day.
Sure. Or it would have been like like seeing a Da Vinci painting or something, and then there's just like a random like red streak in the corner of the painting, and you're like,
Oh, I see. So
Yeah,
to them it was like very obvious.
"Huh!"
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go back and you're gonna start over on that one
Sure.
part. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're talking about this part that's startling.
Startling, and to us as modern listeners, it may not be as startling because we've heard the likes of
Yeah.
Mahler and Strauss, but back then this would have been absolutely shocking and forward thinking. So at the beginning of the fourth movement, we have a very lovely typical melody, right? First violin dancing around, everybody else sort of hyping them. Our technical term for that is a parallel period. It's like antecedent, consequent, create a sentence, sounds like it comes to completion.
Yes.
Love that. Okay, now we're gonna get another phrase, right? Bum 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 ba bum bum ba dum. By the way, all of a sudden we're in like minor
Yes.
mode. That's kind of weird to
Because
begin
we have
with.
some incidentals in there, right?
Exactly. We've got like flash of either A minor or D minor or something going on here. Da da. And then the first violin by themselves. Da ga da ga da da ga da ga da.
And then you just go back.
Like, what is that? Yeah, right. And then we like pretend it doesn't happen. Da 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 dum bum da 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 dum bum bum.
Got it.
And so he's taking anticipated phrase structures and he's wedging in these unexpected things or tagging them on to the end in a slightly strange harmonic space that as modern listeners, again, we like are maybe somewhat desensitized to the strangeness of that.
Right.
But for Haydn, this is like the foundation of all those other composers being able to do that.
It's like this is the moment where he was just like, okay.
Yeah, and actually, having performed this piece, you feel like a total idiot playing it because you're you kind of have to look at the audience like, yes, I mean to do this. It's not a mistake. It does. It sounds completely erroneous.
So this is good to see now that we've like done at least we had quite a bit of luggage with Beethoven that we were unpacking, but it's good to see what his I wouldn't call it inspiration, but I mean obviously when Beethoven looked behind him, he probably knew some of these things pretty well. He probably knew these pieces.
He knew them extremely well.
Yes, so he would have noticed these as well.
And
he's like, oh, I can do better.
This is his inspiration. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Right. It's like, okay, my forebears were starting to break these patterns. Now I'm gonna break it wide open. Yeah. So without these guys, like Beethoven would have had none of those tools to pick up and like smash the wall.
Right.
And we start to see it.